It began on a quiet afternoon. I had been sick for a few days. It was the kind of sickness that makes you weak, like your bones have turned to water and your breath is too heavy to carry. I remember lying on my bed, the room dim, the air still. My chest rose and fell like a slow wave. I was not scared at first. I kept telling myself, rest. It will pass. But then the wave of breath felt too high to climb. My hands were cold. The sounds around me faded like a radio being turned down. There was a moment when I thought, this is it. Not in panic, but as if a soft hand had placed the truth in my palm. The air in the room changed. I heard a small sound, like the faint ring of a bell far away. I tried to move, but my body was heavy. And then, as simple as a sigh, I felt myself become light. I did not fall asleep. I did not close my eyes. I did not dream. I simply slipped, like a foot sliding into warm water, out of the weight I had always worn. I was awake. I was myself. I was more myself than I had ever been. At first, I could still see the room. I saw my body on the bed. I saw the curve of my shoulder under the blanket. I saw the looseness of my hands. It should have been frightening, but it was not. The best words I have are these. I felt held. I felt safe, like a child in strong arms. The fear that I thought would own this moment was nowhere to be found. In its place was a calm that reached deeper than the ocean. I heard a whisper inside me, not in my ears. It said, come. It was not a command. It was an invitation. It carried kindness. The room gave way to light. I did not walk. I did not fly. I was carried as gently as breath moves across a window. And I went. Imagine stepping into a warm breeze that is alive. That is what it felt like to leave the room. The light was not harsh. It was soft and living, like it had a heart. It welcomed me. It knew me. I felt myself open, the way a flower opens to morning without effort. There was no pulling from behind, no tug to return. There was only a draw towards something beautiful that felt like home, even though I had never seen it. My thoughts were clear. My senses were full. I could see without eyes. I could hear without ears. I knew things without being told. Every part of me was awake. I noticed that time did not behave the way it does here. There was time, but it moved like a gentle river with no hurry, no rush, no fear of running out. I could rest inside that river and not be left behind. I felt new and also known, like all the small pieces of my life found their place inside a larger song. As I moved, I became aware of others, gentle beings near me. I could not see faces as we see faces on earth, but I knew they were good. They were warm and bright, and their nearness felt like music. There was no measure of me against them. There was no weighing or blaming. There was only welcome. One of them stayed close to my right side, like a friend walking beside me on a quiet path. I felt, you are safe with us. And I believed it. The light opened into a place. I do not have the right words to carry it, but I will try. The ground looked like land and also like light, as if the grass itself glowed from within. The colors were gentle and deep at the same time. Greens that felt like rest, golds that felt like gladness, blues that tasted like clear water. The air held a warmth that did not burn. It wrapped me without weight. There were trees that seemed to hum softly. Their leaves moved as if they were listening to a quiet song and nodding to it. Far off, I saw something like hills, round and welcoming, with paths that curved as if they were drawn by a loving hand. The whole place had a pulse of joy, as if the land breathed peace the way we breathe air. I heard sound, but it was not only sound. It was a kind of light song. It rose and fell, carried by beings I could not fully see but could feel. It held notes I recognized in my bones, like a memory from before I was born. I felt tears in me, not the tears of sorrow, but the tears that come when you find what you did not know you had been missing your whole life. Near me, the gentle beings moved with purpose. They did not hurry, but they were never idle. I sensed they had one task: welcome, and they were very good at it. Their presence said, you belong. You are loved. You are seen. That was the whole message, and it filled me. Then I felt a nearness that made everything else grow quiet. It was like stepping into a deeper center of the same light. I do not know how to say this without falling short. I was near the one who made me. I did not see a face. I did not hear words. But I knew him. I knew his nearness the way a baby knows a mother's heartbeat. I knew I had always known him, even when I did not feel it on earth. His presence was love, pure, patient, steady kind. It was not thin or soft in a weak way. It was strong, like the strongest shelter you can imagine. Inside that love, I felt fully known. Nothing in me was hidden. And still there was no shame. There was tenderness for every part of me. The parts one thought were too small, too broken, too late. He held them like priceless things. I understood, without anyone teaching me, that this love is the truth behind everything. It holds all things together. It wastes nothing. It forgets nothing that is good. It heals without pain. It does not accuse. It does not compare. It lifts and steadies and shines. If I had to choose one word for this presence, I would say home. I might have stayed in that nearness forever, but there was more to see. I felt a gentle leading, the same invitation as before, and I moved with it, like a leaf moving with a sweet current. That is when I saw them, the children. At first I heard them. Laughter like tiny bells. Clear, light-free. It sparkled in the air like sunlight on water. I turned toward the sound, and the land ahead opened into a wide place, like a garden shaped for joy. And there they were. Children of many ages, small and tall, running and singing and resting, all with a brightness that seemed to come from inside them. Their faces shone in a way I cannot explain. It was not a glare. It was gentleness. Their eyes held peace that was playful and deep at once. Some played games I did not know, yet I understood the rules as if I had always known them. Some sang without moving their lips, and yet the melody rose from them clear as a bird's call. Some sat together as if telling stories that needed no words. I watched them move, and I realized what was missing. There was no sorrow on them, no fear, no confusion, no ache. They were whole. They were joy. They were safe. As I watched, a knowing entered me as simple as truth. These are children who left the world early. Some had been there only days. Some had run a little ways into childhood, and then were called. Some carried the look of young teens, bright but still light as morning. And all of them were held with special care. I felt a question rise in me, not out of worry, but out of wonder. Why are they here like this? Why do they shine like this? And as before, the answer came not in words, but in understanding that settled into me like dew. The children are not lost. They are not missing. They are not gone in the way we fear. They are gathered. They are kept. They are treasured. And they have a special place in the realm of light. I saw how they move with ease among the gardens, how they bring songs that heal. When a new soul arrives, still carrying the weight of earth's last breath, the children draw near. They do not preach. They do not press. They laugh. They sing. They play games that bring back lightness to hearts that forgot how to be light. They reach out small hands, and with a touch, the heavy things fall away, like old clothes gently slipping off. Some of the children carry what I can only call gifts of comfort. They seem to know when a mother or father on earth weeps in the night. In that moment, a hush falls over them, and they lift a song or a prayer without words, and it stretches like a ribbon of light across the distance. I saw it with the eyes of my spirit. Small hands sending warmth across miles and years, to living rooms and hospital rooms and quiet cars where someone thought they were alone. Those parents were not alone. Other children seemed to tend little places. Nooks of the garden shaped like tiny homes, safe and bright. I watched a small boy guide a newer child through a door of light that looked like the outline of a tree. Inside, there were soft chairs that seemed to be made of light, and a low table with something like fruit that glowed like pearls. They laughed like old friends meeting again. I understood that here children grow. They learn, though not with books and tests, but with wonder and joy. They learn love without fear. They learn trust without worry. They become strong in gentleness. And their short time on earth is not wasted. It is worked into their story like a bright thread woven into a larger cloth. Nothing good is thrown away. I also understood that the children have a way of helping those on earth who love them. Not by pulling strings, not by changing the laws of the world, but by adding light to the path, by leaning close in quiet moments, by stirring a peace that lands like a soft blanket on a shaking heart. Sometimes a parent will feel it as a stillness while washing dishes, or a memory arriving gentle as a feather, or a sudden sense of warmth on a cold day. Sometimes it comes as a small dream that feels more true than the morning. These are gifts not to bind us, but to lift us. As I watched the children, a deep calm settled in me, and I knew this message was being written into my heart. Life does not end. It changes form. Our breath here is a chapter, not the whole book. The one who made us is not careless. He is tender beyond words. He does not lose those we cannot bear to lose. He gathers. He keeps. He holds. Children who leave early are not less. They are not incomplete. They are not cut off from love. They are wrapped in it. They are given holy work made of joy. Work that does not tire them. Work that grows them. Work that spreads peace like a fragrance. They are near the center of song, and their laughter is part of the music that runs through the whole realm. I felt another layer of comfort. Bonds made of love do not break. They change how they feel, but they do not snap. A mother's love, a father's love, a sister's love. These are threads the light holds tight. Even when words fail and days blur, those threads shine. I saw them. They looked like slender lines joining hearts across distance, shining even through tears. The realm of light honors those lines. It strengthens them. It lets comfort flow along them like water in a clear stream. If I could gather the message into one sentence, it would be this. Love is stronger than time, and your little ones are safe, more safe than you can imagine.